Pesachim Daf Ches. Today's incredible email comes from Stephen Sokolov from South Bend, Indiana. He's in his 40s and he says that he had a very severe case of COVID and he was laying in the hospital and the doctor came to tell him that he most likely will be going on a ventilator in the next few hours. So he decided to learn some Torah, but he couldn't concentrate. And then the words of "it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi" kept on repeating themselves over and over in his head. He said, at least let me just look at the letters. So he stared at the letters and he says, eventually that gave him life and that brought him back. In addition to that, he says that the tremendous achdus of our chabura, people like Mordechai Ashkenazi, Uncle Phil, Aaron Shalom, Avi Sherman, called him every single day, and most of them called him twice a day. And that gave him life. And now, as he says, I'm very grateful to you for putting the daf in my yomi and thereby saving my life so I can be here for my family. Best regards, Stephen Sokolov. Unbelievable. Thank you, Stephen. A refuah shleima. Gemara tells us that Rav Sheshes would fast on Erev Pesach, and that's because he was an istinus, and if he would eat a little bit in the morning, he wouldn't be able to eat the matzah with an appropriate appetite. But it's not the pshat because he holds like the Manda Omar, or like we thought, that you have to stop eating before Mincha G'dayla. In other words, at 12 o'clock, a half an hour before Mincha G'dayla, and the concern is that he's not going to bring the Korban Pesach. He holds like Ben Beseira, that you could bring a Korban Pesach from the very morning all the way to the evening, and the word Ben Arbaim means from last night until the following night, and you bring it from Alis HaShachar. That's not the pshat. Now we're going to talk about the halachas of a seva. When you eat the matzah, the mitzvah matzah, you have to lean to your left, and it's zecher ligu'ula. And if you don't, you have to eat it over again. A very important halacha is that the head must be supported. You can't just lean to the side and your head hanging. You have to put something underneath the head. Marer, on the other hand, doesn't require haseva. If you do so, it's okay, but it doesn't require haseva because marer is zecher la'avdus. The dalet kaisais require haseva. The Gemara says the suffix which two kaisas Rav Nachman said are chayiv, and since we don't know which ones, it's the first two or the last two, so we do all four be'aseva. If you lay on your back a praktam, that's not considered a seva, and if you lean to your right, that's not considered a seva. And the Gemara says we're concerned shemiyaktim kana leveshed, perhaps you'll choke on your food. Machlekes Rashi says that's referring to the person laying on his back. The Rashbam says it's referring to the person who's leaning to his right. A married woman does not have to do a seva because she's kfufa to her husband. But an important woman does a seva. And today the Rama says all women are important, and therefore the chayiv in a seva. A son by his father is required to do a seva. A talmid in front of his rebbe is machlekes. Rabbi says you have to do a seva. Rabbi Yosef says, Moir rabcha k'moir shemayim, you don't do a seva in front of a rebbe. Now there's a brisa that says that a talmid has to do a seva in front of his rebbe. It's dafka, someone who's teaching his son, or the person, umnos, like somebody's learning carpentry, so in front of the master carpenter, you do his seva. A waiter is required to do a seva. You don't say subordinate to his master, he does a seva. This is unfortunate in the brisa, that a waiter, if he does a seva, is yaitse, and you could be medaik. If he doesn't do a seva, he's not yaitse. The dalet kaises are a mitzvah sasei shazman grama. You could only do them on Leila Seder. Nevertheless, women are mechuyev in dalet kaises. Afhein hayu bois haneis. One pshat is that it's because of the noshim tzidkanios that there was a geula. The other pshat is that they themselves were redeemed from Mitzrayim. The dalet kaises, all four cups, each one individually needs a quarter of a revius of undiluted wine, and you add to that 3 parts water to the 1 part undiluted wine. If you were to drink an entire cup of undiluted wine, you'll be yaitz b'samachti b'chagecha, the simcha of yayin, and you'll also be yaitz to the dalet kaisos, but you won't be mekayim the cheiros, the idea of cheiros behidur. If a person drank roiv kais, which is meloi lugmav, a mouthful, he can then go ahead and give the rest to his children, and it'll be yaitza. If a person drank all 4 cups in one shot consecutively, it's as if he only drank 1 cup, so it'll be yaitze, the mitzvah of samachta b'chagecha, but not the dalet kaises. New wine that doesn't have good flavor, old wine that lost its flavor, according to the brayse is yaitze. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you need to have good flavored wine, and you need to have a nice red color. It says in the pasuk, Al Tere Yain Ki Yis Adam, it's red. There's a minhag to give out kloyes ve'goizim, nuts, during the Seder in order to prevent the kids from falling asleep, and that the kids should ask questions, and Rebbe Kiva did so himself. Have a wonderful day.